Well, good morning, everybody. It's me, Mitch. I'm in the kitchen. Got me a ribeye, nice ribeye steak. And the subject of this video is going to be, can I really do carnivore if I don't eat raw meat? Which is coming up more and more. It's not new, but we're all becoming more and more convinced that it's healthier and better for us to eat raw meat, and that there are downsides to cooking meat, and we should all be turned back into lions, because that's how lions eat. They don't cook their food. Animals don't cook their food. We shouldn't cook our food either. But wait you say we've been cooking our food for almost 1 million years now. How come we survived? How did we ever get here if it's so unhealthy to cook your food? And the raw advocates all say, and have a great argument, that you don't damage the nutrients. But then the cooking advocates say, well, if that's the case, how did the human race survive and prosper? How did we get to be 8 billion people eating cooked food? Well, there is an answer, and there's logic behind the answer. The problem we have as carnivores, the conundrum is, I just don't want to eat raw meat. But the advocates say, well, you have to. So I'm here to tell you, no, you don't have to. What I have postulated is that cooking meat under certain conditions is responsible for the fact that the human race has survived. And the key factor to consider, and you have to consider this to find a livable answer to the question on all of our minds. Can I really be a carnivore if I eat raw meat? Yeah, you could. Do I have to be? Do I have to eat raw meat to really benefit from carnivore? And I think the answer is a distinct no. Any controversy is very simple. You can't use a lion. We cannot use a lion as the example, because we are not lions. We're not. We don't chase after our prey. Run it down. Kill it. Tear it open before it even has a chance for its body temperature to go down. And we devour our food. And we leave what we don't want for the scavengers. That's how a lion eats. Sorry. Unless you see a bunch of carnivores stalking cows in a pasture with a knife and fork in their hand, I simply can't see the argument that it's really that urgent. And the key phrase is fresh kill. Because what happens to meat and other foods when they're exposed to bacteria, pathogens, and everything else, they spoil. They become deadly. All kinds of diseases, trichinosis, salmonella, lots of things that aren't deadly in fresh kill. We as carnivores living in a modern society, shopping at supermarkets, who don't happen to live next door to the African savannah where we can get on our running shoes and chase a few animals down, We hunt for our food in the meat departments of Sam's Club and all these. We take our food and we preserve it. We vacuum seal it. We freeze it. And it's possible if we got a fresh frozen delivery from a sustainable farm like Kelsey does and Nelson, and it was flash frozen instant after it was killed, that yes, it would be like eating raw kill, and that would be perfectly safe for us, but maybe not as tasty as we would like. We could develop a taste for it. But I think, for me at least, I've decided, and you can do what you want, but I've decided I'm going to stop obsessing over eating raw and concentrate on a compromise. Now, I've done a lot of research, and the discovery of fire and the burning of the very outside of the meat is what saved lives, because when first exposed, it's the outside of the meat where these pathogens find themselves. And holding them over a fire killed the pathogens. The secret is to not overcook the meat, because then you kill so many of the nutrients that might be inside. So rare to raw, Pittsburgh, black and blue, charred outside, warm inside, I think is the perfect compromise. So now over here, I've got my Tyfer air fryer and my new Tyfer Bluetooth digital thermometer. Now, even though these things work in common and they work with apps, I don't think it's all that's necessary right now. I think that I have to figure out a way. It's not a frozen steak, so I got to be careful I don't get it too hot. But I'm going to take this steak and the plan, and we'll see what happens because this is experimenting. The plan is going to be to take the air fryer basket, cook it on what they call the steak mode, which they recommend you take out the basket and you cook the steak right on the bottom. We're going to cut this open. Easy peasy. And we're going to take the steak out. I haven't salted it yet or anything, and I want to put it right in the pan here. And God, is that a beautiful steak? I'm going to put a little bit of Himalayan pink salt on it. Yes, sir. Perfect, perfect. I'm going to show you this here. I'm going to take my thermometer out of this. I'm going to turn this on, hold it down. Here it is. And it tells me that this thermometer is on right here. I'm going to set this down where you can see it. I'm just going to take this, and there's a mark here, and I got to, right on the probe, I got to take it, put it at least this far into the meat, make sure that the tip is well inside the meat and that it's not sitting in any fat. So I think maybe right here might be the place to put it, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick it right in the center like this. Try to make sure it stays centered. Put it in. Get it in about that far. All right, I've set the thermometer for 115 degrees internal temperature. And I could just follow along and see what's happening. I turn on the air fryer. I push the steak button, and the steak has a preheat mode. I don't want to put the steak in yet. I will say start it. And it says 7 minutes. So we'll wait, and we'll be back in 7 minutes when it's time to put the steak in. Okay, the preheat is counting down, 30 seconds to go. We will move the thermometer out of the way. The meat's already warmed up to about 49 degrees on the inside. And we'll get ready to put the steak in and set the initial timer for 10 minutes. And we can add time, but we're concerned about the thermometer over here reading 115. And it'll probably rest to about 120. Okay, it says 0. We'll want to watch ourselves. This is very hot. We'll add the steak. Yes. Obviously it is hot. And we'll put this back in. And it says 450 at 10 and press start. And that is cooking. So now we will watch the temperature on the thermometer. Put that right here so we can see it. Okay, while this is cooking, let's talk a bit more about the theory that I have. I've got that set at 450, which is as hot as it can be. I want the outside to really cook, and the hotter it is, the faster the outside will cook. I've got the thermometer on the inside, and right now it says 66 degrees, so it is warming up. I'm going to flip it at 5 minutes, and the important thing is that I not let the internal temperature get too high. I want it almost raw. I want the crust to be thin, which may be an argument for cooking a steak from frozen. If I cook a steak like this from frozen, I would pretty much cook it the same way, but I don't think I'd get that sizzling sear first time I threw it in the hot pan. I may end up be better cooking it on the grate. But I want to try it this way, so I don't have to cook it halfway before it thaws enough for me to put the thermometer in it. I wanted me to put the thermometer in, put the steak in, figure about 10 minutes cooking time, and hopefully it'll come out close to, if not exactly, what I want. Okay, we're at 6 minutes. We're at 75 degrees internal temperature. So it's starting to get warm in there. That's great. But at 5 minutes, I'm going to flip it. 5 minutes. Okay, let me move the thermometer out of the way. Open it up. Wow, it is cooking. Flip it over. Wow, look at that sear on there. Holy cow. Put it back in and let it finish cooking. It's now 80 degrees. So now the thermometer is going to be the thing I want to keep my eye on. 81, and I want to make sure to remove it from the heat. Now, I'm not familiar enough with this thermometer yet to, I didn't set it up as a cook. I set it in manual mode. If I had set it up as a cook, it would probably try to automatically tell me to remove it from the heat, figure in the temperature rise during rest. I don't need that level of automation. I could also basically tell this to shut off when it gets to this temperature. I don't need to complicate it that far. The nice thing about this thermometer is, other than the fact that it's made by Typher and it will integrate with this, most of the uses that I would have for it are just what I'm doing right now. You can use it in any air fryer, in your oven, in the barbecue. You can cook 2 different things at the same time. It's got 2 different thermometers. It's manual. I don't feel the need to overcomplicate it any more than that. Some people like to. I don't want to have to use cell phone apps in order to cook. And I really like this thermometer over my meter that I have because it has a display in it. It doesn't need a cell phone app, even though it has one, and I can go anywhere within thousands of feet of here and look on my cell phone and see what the temperature is. So if I'm barbecuing something outside, slow cooking something, and I've got a probe in it, I can tell from in the house how far along it is. Is it almost done? So that's how I'm going to use this thermometer. Down the road, we'll try out all the automatic stuff, but doesn't really go along with my mantra, and that is keep it simple. So what I'm looking for is a crusted steak with a almost raw inside. So I have the safety of knowing that if this had spoiled even the slightest bit in the storage, and the fact that I didn't just kill this animal 5 minutes ago before I stuck my knife and fork into it, any bacteria or organisms that may have found their way will be killed by the heat, but the meat on the inside will be only slightly affected by getting warmed up to about 110 or 15 degrees. Now, I'm going to do this to 115. It may be that I should be cooking it to 110. I'm at 101 now. You're going to see the temperature start to increase the rate at which it climbs. I've got 2 minutes left, so it's possible that 10 minutes might be very close to the cooking time that I need. 103, 104. Ha! I love it when a plan comes together. The proof, however, is going to be when we cut the steak open. And then, ultimately, when I taste it. And I'm looking forward to that. But I like this gadget. I like the way it's got a big battery in it. It charges up the probes in it. It's got all kinds of, tells you what the charge each probe is. It tells you what the charge of the base battery is. Very simple to operate, and yet it is Wi-Fi connected. You can make it as complicated and as automatic as your heart desires, or you can just do a simple cook. Now this thing has decided that it's over. So with the timer counted down, and it's 115, and now the thermometer tells me it's done. Wow, was that ever close? What a great estimate. So let me get this steak out of here and put it on here and get it out of the heat and let it start to rest. That's the total mess we have to clean up. Let's take a look and see what it looks like. I'll just cut it right across here. Wow, this is a good thick steak. And, oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that. That is certainly rare on the inside, charred on the outside, and wow. Let me let it cool off just a little bit. It ended up getting up to 127, but that's okay because that still looks raw. I'm going to pull the probe out and set it here to wash it off. And let's see how it looks on the thinner part of the steak down here. Oh, that looks perfect. That looks perfect. Wow. Let's see. Look at that. Let me shut off this noisy fan. And look at that nice piece of fat on the end. I'm going to eat that along with this first bite of meat. That, my friends, look at that, is fabulous. Wow, that's perfect. Perfect. That is perfect. Incredible. easy and no cleanup. Wow. My friends, I believe was a success. Just beautiful. So there we have my opinion on whether I need to eat raw, really, or that there may not be some benefit and very little detriment to doing what they call Pittsburgh or black and blue, and that this air fryer certainly does it. On the steak mode, preheating it with no basket, no grate in there, and put a nice sear on the outside, left it near raw on the inside. I cooked it to 115 degrees and took it off the heat. I think that was perfect. It was a fairly thick steak, maybe 1.25 inches, but perfect, perfect. And I'm going to sit here and enjoy all of this perfection. I've got discount links for both of these things, the Typher air fryer and the thermometer. They're on sale right now. The links will be in the description of the video below. I don't think you can go wrong with these. I like mine. But for today, take the rest of the day off and certainly eat meat.